Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Tuesday, the 16th of April. Thunderstorms wreak havoc in India and Pakistan. Sindhi women protest against forced conversion of Hindu girls in Pakistan. And several Afghan politicians announced boycott of peace Jirga. And now for all the details. A thunderstorm wreaked havoc on Monday in parts of northeast India, killing at least 3 people in Manipur province. Meanwhile, a dust storm accompanied by rain swept through Pakistan's Punjab and Sindh provinces, leaving over a dozen dead and several injured.
At least 3 persons were reportedly killed after a thunderstorm hit India's northeastern Manipur province on Monday. All 3 victims were women who were killed in Churachandpur and Kakching districts of the province. Reportedly 2 were killed after a house collapsed, while the third one died as a tree fell on her shop. The storm left hundreds of people displaced as their houses were blown away and property was ruined. Authorities were seen assessing the storm-hit areas and working towards providing relief to the people. India's cyclone season usually runs from April to December, with storms often causing dozens of deaths and widespread damage to crops and property.
There was very strong winds with rain all over the state, and especially in this district of Kakching. And there was widespread damage in the district, and unfortunately we also have one loss of life due to a falling tree which fell on a shop.
Meanwhile, a dust storm accompanied by rain which swept through parts of Pakistan left more than 20 people dead and several injured on Monday, local media reported. Videos showed winds on Monday dragging sand through the air, minimizing visibility on the roads in Pakistan's Karachi city. The blustery winds uprooted electricity poles and trees in different parts of the city, causing traffic blockages.
में इंतज़ामिया की नाअहली कहा जाएगा, क्योंकि ये सारी चीज़ों के लिए अलर्ट रहना चाहिए, जब ये सारी चीज़ें अब तो माशाल्लाह पहले से पता चल जाती हैं और इतना अच्छा सिस्टम हो गया कि जो पेशेंटगोइयाँ होती हैं वो तकरीबन सही हो रही हैं अब.
Pakistan Meteorological Department Director Sardar Sarfaraz told local media that the dust storm was stronger than expected, blowing at 40 miles per hour, reducing visibility to 500 meters.
The second batch of 100 Indian fishermen who were under Pakistan's custody walked back to their side of the border after being released on Monday evening. Pakistan has announced to set free a total of 360 Indian prisoners in 4 phases this month as a goodwill gesture. It had released the first batch of 100 Indian fishermen on April 7th.
As many as 100 Indian fishermen under Pakistan's custody walked back to their side of the border on Monday evening after being released at the Wagha-Attari border. The fishermen were part of the second batch of 360 Indian prisoners Pakistan has announced to set free in 4 phases this month as a goodwill gesture amid tensions between the 2 countries post the deadly Pulwama terror attack in February. Pakistan had released the first batch of 100 Indian fishermen on April 7th. Another 100 will be freed on April 22nd, and the process will be completed on April 29th when 55 fishermen and 5 other prisoners will be released. The fishermen were arrested on the charges of trespassing into Pakistan's waters. Due to the rocky relation between the 2 sides, prisoners who have completed their jail terms often languish in each other's jail for several months and sometimes years.
Moving on, a group of Sindhi women recently gathered outside the Pakistan High Commission in London to protest against forced conversion of Hindu girls by Muslim men in Pakistan. Human rights activists have long accused several young girls from minority communities have been abducted and forcibly converted to Islam in Pakistan in the past few years.
A group of Sindhi women recently gathered outside the Pakistani High Commission in London to protest against forced conversion of Hindu girls by Muslim men in Pakistan. The protesters said that the practice of forced conversion of religious minorities, especially Hindu girls in Sindh province, is a criminal act and a gross violation of human rights. They blamed that the Pakistani state is systematically and strategically supporting this practice and spread of violent religious extremism. They blamed it is to coerce and frighten the vulnerable Sindhi people to leave their motherland.
We think that this forced conversion of Sindhi Hindu girl is an international issue. We do not trust Pakistani state or Pakistani judiciary system or the police to actually provide any justice to our young girls. We call upon our international community to support us, and these cases should be dealt through international law.
The protesters also handed over a letter to the Pakistani High Commission demanding to stop forced abductions, conversions and violence against Sindhi Hindus. Human rights activists have long accused several young girls from minority communities have been abducted and forcibly converted to Islam in Pakistan in the past few years.
And in news from Afghanistan, after Afghanistan's chief executive Abdullah decided to not attend the Grand Consultative Jirga on Peace, more politicians on Monday announced they too will not attend the meeting. The politicians alleged that the assembly has got a political purpose and that it will not be able to find any settlement to the ongoing conflict in the country.
Following Afghanistan's chief executive Abdullah's decision to not attend the Grand Consultative Jirga on Peace, more politicians and heads of some political movements on Monday announced they will also not attend the meeting. Abdullah, who also leads the Stability and Partnership election ticket for the upcoming presidential elections, announced his decision in a statement on Sunday. Meanwhile, other presidential candidates who also decided to boycott the meeting blamed that the assembly has got a political purpose and that it will not find any settlement to the ongoing conflict in the country.
د سیاسي احزابو سره هغه چې معمولا داخل دي زموږ په ټیم کې له ټولو سره په مشوره زموږ پریکړه دا وه چې موږ نشو کولی په دغه یو حالت کې په اوسنۍ لویه جرګه کې ګډون وکړو.
تا تقریبا میگن که 360 چند میلیون افغانی را به خاطر از مصرف میکنه. این یک نوع رشوت است به مردم تا بیان جمع شوند و حکومت در واقع هم قوت خود نشان بده که ما قوت داریم.
One of the mainstream Afghan political parties, Hizb-e-Islami, led by Gulbuddin Hekmatyar, has also been one of the key critiques of the modality of selection of Jirga members. However, it has not officially announced its stance on the issue. The Jirga is scheduled for April 29th, where almost 2,500 delegates are expected to decide on the future of the peace talks in Afghanistan.
Modern news from Afghanistan. Bird hunters are carrying on their tradition of catching cranes in Afghanistan using a tethered bird amid a flock of decoys to lure other down to the nets. Bird hunting is an ancient sport in the country where even amid the chaos of the past 40 years of conflict, the tradition persists.
Keeping up the ancient sport of Afghanistan, bird hunters in the country still set up their snares to catch cranes, using a tethered bird amid a flock of decoys to lure others down to the nets. A 49-year-old farmer in Parwan province, Jan Agha, said he learned the different ways of hunting from his ancestors and now wants his sons to carry forward the tradition. Spring is the season of cranes, which the hunters try to catch alive in snares, using a specially trained tethered bird whose cries attract passing flocks. Hunters set off at night, picnicking in the desert before testing their skills at dawn.
پرندارا بعد در سن 12 ساله 13 ساله بودم شوقی نور بودم تفنگ چرایی را میگرفتم در نور میرفتم باز دیگه از اینمی مرغایی شکار میکردم بعد از او باز خیلای کلنگ اگه دواییدم شوق اومد که بیا یک کسب کلنگ بازی کنم بعد از او با شکار کلنگ شروع کردم شکار کلنگ شروع کردم یعنی از شکار کلنگ ما یگان ممکن 30 سال میشه 30 سال میشه که من شکار کلنگ میکنم باز شکار بازم میکنم.
Jan Agha presently has around 100 cranes in his home. They and other birds are usually taken to shops near the town of Bagram district or to capital Kabul itself, where there is a popular bird market in the center of the old city. The war has left much of the environment near Kabul devastated with uncleared mines, pollution, uncontrolled construction and general neglect. Only in the last few years there has been an effort to restore areas like the former royal hunting grounds at Kole Hashmat Khan in the city's southwest.
A gallery of 51 sand sculptures was displayed recently in India's southern Ramanathapuram district to create awareness among the people to exercise their right to vote in the general election. The election in the world's largest democracy began on April 11th and would conclude on May 19th. The results would be announced on May 23rd.
With an objective of educating the people about their responsibility to cast their votes in the ongoing general election in the country, a gallery of 51 sand sculptures has been displayed outside Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Memorial in Ramanathapuram district of India's southern Tamil Nadu province. The lengthiest gallery of sand sculptures on voter awareness has been made by popular sand artist Saravanan to motivate more and more people to exercise their voting right. The participants also took a pledge to cast their vote and ensuring 100% voting in the general election. This comes a few days after more than 3,000 people had joined hands to form a human chain on the Pamban Sea Bridge in the district for voter awareness. The people from the district will be voting in the second phase of the general election on April 18. The election in the world's largest democracy began on April 11th and would conclude on May 19. The results for the seventh-phase election would be announced on May 23rd.
A cow fashion show was organized on Monday in a remote village of India's northeastern Assam province to mark the celebrations of Bohag Bihu or Assamese New Year. Meanwhile, people in India's West Bengal province celebrated the traditional Bengali New Year by beating drums and dancing to folk songs. Both the festivals are observed especially by the farming community as Thanksgiving Day for the abundant harvest.
A cow fashion show was organized on Monday in the remote village of Pathshala in Barpeta district of India's northeastern Assam province to mark the celebrations of Bohag Bihu or the Assamese New Year. The first day of 7-day-long celebrations, known as Goru Bihu, is dedicated to cows. The cows were adorned with accessories, flowers and colorful clothing before walking on what looked like a grass ramp amid cheers from visitors. Cows revered as sacred in the Hindu belief system have also been an integral part of the majority agriculture-based culture of India.
इस बिहू के पहला दिन जो गोरू बिहू जो मनाया जाता है वहाँ पे बजाली के पाठशाला जो असम का जगह है यहाँ पे ये काव का फैशन शो ऑर्गेनाइज किया जाता है और यहाँ पे गोविंदपुर में हर तरह के गाय को सजा कर लाया जाता है पब्लिक के सामने लाया जाता है.
Meanwhile, in Siliguri city of India's West Bengal province, people came together dressed up in traditional attires to celebrate the Bengali New Year. People were seen dancing to the tunes of traditional folk songs to celebrate the arrival of New Year. The celebrations were marked by worship, folk dancing and singing.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Thunderstorms wreak havoc in India and Pakistan. Sindhi women protest against forced conversion of Hindu girls in Pakistan. And several Afghan politicians announced boycott of peace Jirga. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsia Newsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsia Newsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.